On today's episode of Undercover Boss, the Chief Marketing Officer of ADT, America's largest provider of home security, goes undercover. By working on the front lines, this former Marine checks if he still has the skill to keep up. Along the way, we see him making startling discoveries.
Mom's fell in the driveway and I need an ambulance. Somebody's gonna have to get her up.
And how will he react when lives are on the line? And how will his employees take it when they find out the truth? Stay with us to find out. Securing homes and businesses since 1874 and currently serving more than 6 million customers, ADT is the largest security company in North America, and making sure that all 16,000 employees stay on their toes is Chief Marketing Officer Tony Wells. Tony was born in Washington, D.C., and he played basketball all the way through high school and was close to getting a sports scholarship, but what really interested him was the Naval Academy, and after graduating from the academy, he joined the Marine Corps. He became a lieutenant, and after finishing his service, he used his man management skills and took it to the business world, and he eventually became the Chief Marketing Officer of ADT. Tony has been working at ADT for only 8 months, and thinks that the way to know the company in and out is by going undercover and seeing it for himself. He will be going undercover as James, a contestant in a reality show, competing to win a prize so he can start his own security firm. For his first job, he travels to Union City, New Jersey to work as a sales manager. He meets up with Matt, who gives him tips on how to dress so he would be more approachable to customers, and then they go to meet with a customer and assess his new place to figure out what needs to be done. Tony watches as Matt closes a deal and is impressed with his performance. For their next customer, Tony takes the lead, which doesn't go so great as Tony didn't know what to say and the conversation got very awkward.
He was like a timid little kid. I mean, he wasn't sure what to say. It was very uncomfortable for him.
Matt then jumps in and saves the deal, and on their way back, Tony learns about Matt's hard upbringing and also his ambition to one day lead ADT. Matt also gives his criticisms on the sales training program and how to improve it. The next day, he travels to Pembroke Pines, Florida to work as a service technician. He meets up with Jesus, who takes him to a customer home to upgrade their security system. Jesus shows him to install the first one, and Tony does the next. Jesus is very thorough and does everything to the best of his capabilities, and he's also a great teacher, and Tony was able to learn well from him. Later, Tony learns that even though Jesus likes his job, the pay was too low, which makes him need work on weekends, and he's not able to spend that much time with his family. The next day, he travels to Knoxville, Tennessee to work as an emergency dispatch operator. He meets with Diane, who tells him about the different kinds of emergencies and how to properly deal with them. He watches Diane take the first call, and he takes the next one, which was a customer that just got into an accident and needs an ambulance.
Mom's fell in the driveway and I need an ambulance. Somebody's gonna have to get her up.
Okay. Good morning, Doug. This is Diane with ADT calling in a medical alarm at a residence.
I'll get help on the way.
Tony then takes the rest of the calls and does really well. Later on their breaks, he learns that Diane has been working there for 6 years and that she's passionate about the work. For his next job, he travels back to New Jersey again, and this time to work as a residential sales representative. He meets with Mike and he gets right into the job, which was trying to get leads by calling customers. After many calls, they get one customer, and he gives the phone to Tony so he could get the customer. After some calls, he gets a customer, and with some help from Mike, he was able to set up a meeting. They then go to a customer house who was already an ADT user, but is thinking of either upgrading it or discontinuing it fully. Toby and Mike work together, and the skills of mostly Mike close the deal. And finally, Tony's undercover time has now come to an end, and he invites his employees to his office to finally reveal his true identity. First in was Matt, and he tells him that his passion for the work was inspiring, and he offers him a job in the sales department so he can manage to pitch his ideas. He then gives him $10,000 for him and his team to celebrate their success. Next was Diane, and he tells her that because of her, he started an employee council so that experienced workers like her would have a say on how to improve the service centers. He then gives her $10,000 so she can pay for her student loans and another $15,000 just for her and her family. And after her was Mike, and he tells him that he did an unbelievable job as a sales rep, and he gives him $25,000 so he can get a better car and he can spend the rest of the money on his family. And last but not least was Jesus, and he also tells him that he was impressed by him, and he tells him that he started a better training program for new customers, and he gives him a total of $35,000 to support him and his family. In the weeks since, Matt was featured speaker at an ADT conference where he gave his ideas, and he was also excited to treat his team to a well-deserved party this summer. After buying a new car, Mike and his wife renovate their home. Diane is thrilled to pay her student loans, and she's moved her family into a new apartment. And finally, Jesus was able to establish a college fund for his daughter and moves his family to a new home.